Okay, so I've made this animation in Rive. It's basically a combination of Rive and Blender. Just show you, if you click on the car and bounces, and then it skids to that side, to the back, and then if you go to the left, it skids to the front. If you go down here, it goes up and then it goes down. So I'm going to show you basically how I set this up. The first thing I did is I modeled this car in Blender, as you can see here. And then after that, I textured it. This is basically, I gave this flat toon shading type of texture. As you can see down here in the shader view, I used the principal BSDF, and then it goes into a shader to RGB and a color ramp, which is set to constant. It's very important that you set it to constant. So it creates these flat colors on the shadows, and then just to material out. And then I painted on the car with a bit of grease pencil as well to give it some additional lines. And then I also used a modifier, a solidify modifier, to give the car outlines. It's a bit tricky to set up. Not that tricky, but it is a bit tricky. But you can just go onto YouTube and you'll see there's quite a few tutorials on how to create toon shading for Blender. So that's just basically how I set up the car. And then it looks like this. And then what I did after that is I animated the car going into the different positions, like going left, jumping, and all those things. And make sure that when you export that you have a transparent setting, and then you export it as a PNG. Make sure that when you go to output that your resolution is set to 500 to 500, or the size of your artboard in Rive, because you don't want to render it too big, because it's a bit of an overkill. If you've got something rendering at 1080 by 1080 and your comp size, I'm so used to After Effects actually. So if your artboard size is 500 by 500, it's just completely overkill. And I animated this at 24 frames per second. Okay, so now let's pop into Rive and I'll show you what I did here. Okay, I imported all of these car animations as PNGs, as assets. Then I went into the car and I created solos for every movement. So basically one for the car going up, one for the car going down, right, left, jump, and idle. So these solos contain all of the animations. Most of them are 1 second long, so it's 24 animations. Then I went into the car and I grouped everything. It's just nice to group it because it just keeps it tidy. I went into the car and just created animations for all of the different movements. Here's the one where it goes right. Here's the one that goes jump, and so on. So that's pretty straightforward. For the environment, I created everything into different layers to create parallax. So this is the front. This is the center, this is the back one, and then it goes back to the very end there. So how I animated this is I created a layer with this background, and then I copied it. So the one is here, and then the one is next to that, and then I moved it 500 pixels to the right. So it creates a seamless loop. So it's very important to create a seamless loop when you animate the background. And as you can see then here, the rocks too, it's the same thing. So it starts there, and then I copied that and created another one that's there off screen. So that one goes there. I did it with all of them. And now this is the interesting part is, to create a parallax, you want them to move at different speeds. So if we go to the first one, this one animates for 12 frames. Then the second one animates for a second. The small rocks here is for a little bit more than a second, like 2.5 seconds. and then the other one goes 4 seconds, and so on and so forth. So to create that parallax, and then all you do is you go to the state machine and just create an animation for every one of these. So then you get that parallax effect, as you can see here. And then I animated the smoke and its own, then I animated the smoke in its own artboard and just imported it in here and just animated it with the movement of the car. Then the state machine for the interaction, we go to the car animation. It looks like a spider web, but it's actually quite simple. So basically you've got the entry, and then it goes to idle, which is basically your default. Then I created heat boxes. If you go up here, you can see there's one for down, one for up, one for center, right, left, and jump. That's when you click on the car to jump. So the heat boxes are set up like that. It's pretty straightforward. If you go right, you hover with the mouse, then it goes to the right animation and vice versa. And then if you click on the jump, then it goes to the jump and so on. So that's pretty straightforward. You can dig into the file and have a look at it. So it's not that complicated, but if people want me to do a more in-depth tutorial on how to do these type of things, including some Blender modeling and animation, just pop me a comment and yeah, I'll do it. Cool. I hope you enjoyed this one.